This is the current scenario. Now we need to know what's happening in the market. This is very important to understand because all other things are mostly theoretical. When we touch the ground, this is what our ground tells us. Last year, third quarter started global funding winter. It hit the entire globe and Indian markets as well. Indian startups were actually plunged 75% year on year to $2.8 billion from $11.6 billion in the last quarter, which was January to March quarter. Huge slump in funding. It happened for many reasons. Global recession was also one factor. One was opening up of the economy. Very interesting. We had many startups going. Technology, when COVID set in the early 2020, technology took the main course. It was the mainstay of the startups. Everything went on to technology. In education, the entire education system turned to technology, and like Byju's and others. When in 2022, markets opened up, schools opened up, and everything, actually all economy opened up, offline things came up. Then Byju's type of a model, it got a hit. So when it got a hit, why should investors invest? And they were leading the market. The largest startups that were on technology, they got the hit. When investment dried up there, so it dried up everywhere. So this is where the problem rose. That is why 2002 saw a slump, and it carried on till this last quarter. But it did not affect mostly the early stage startups. Early stage startups also got a hit because the entire market was like this. It got a hit of 68% only against 75%. Large late stage deals got a maximum hit of 79%. Even then, India stayed second highest funded country after the United States. That is a positive factor. We still stayed second highest in the world after the United States. So we had the resilience to withstand the fall that was taking place everywhere in the world. What are the positives now? This ecosystem is now actually rebooting itself. We have found 4 new trends appearing in the ecosystem. One is democratization. So democratization is now obvious in this meeting also. Investors are now interested more in tier 2 and tier 3 cities like ours. Srinagar is a tier 2 city. And I find so many investors interested for tier 2 cities. And we are finding many investors calling us for tie-ups so that they can invest in this part of the country. Why? Because tier 1 cities are almost saturated. They're maintaining their balance, but growth is not taking place as it grew during the last few years. So where the growth now will take place will be in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities of India. We are one among those cities. So that is what is happening right now. So we are finding traction here in these kind of cities. Despite dry powder, VC investors demonstrate more caution. VC investors were very aggressive in 2020, 21 saw very boom in VC investments. Dry powder, you must be knowing, is a reserve of funds for these high institutional investors keep for such season where there's such kind of a winter sets in. It's basically intended to be invested when all other things dry up. Despite having an enormous dry powder, VC investors have now said that we will have to weather this storm. We will not go for aggressive investments for the time being. What we do, we will be cautiously investing in such startups which have a definite growth trajectory, visible growth trajectory, and particularly in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Emerging startups to focus on reducing cash burn. Third factor that has set in, that you don't spend lavishly. In simpler terms, the cash burn has to be reduced. It's like an advisory to emerging startups. Don't go for cash burn, huge cash burn, as it used to be in the previous years, because funds were getting in at a pace, so there was possibility of large cash burn. But once it has reduced, you will have to reduce the cash burn. And equity crowdfunding over bank loans. Bank loans may be replaced. It's also a trend. Equity crowdfunding is supposed to be a better, because here your equity is distributed among a large number of people, and large number of people are supposed to invest smaller amounts. Smaller amounts come in easily than larger amounts from selected few investors. So crowdfunding is an in thing now. So all these four new trends are actually rebooting the whole ecosystem. This is directly attached to startups, early stage startups, and those sitting in tier 2 and tier 3 stages. So we find a positive factor in all these four indicators or trends that are appearing. So we have to be upbeat, and we have to keep our toolkits ready, our homework done properly, so that we find and attract investors to invest in our startups.